Thank you very much, Cathaoirleach. And Minister, delighted to see you here this morning to answer this really important question. And the fact that you're from Meath and know the area, I'm hoping that I will be getting a very favourable answer in return. The CSO figures and the increase in the CSO figures to almost 13% clearly shows that our population has increased over the last number of years. The development of new houses and granting of planning permissions in our area and the surrounding areas is another need for a secondary school. We have had almost 400 Ukrainians that have settled in our area over the last couple of months as well. So all this increase is leading to a demand for a secondary school in our area. Not only do we have a need for the school, but we also have the land available to build this school. In 2005, the then Bishop of Meath tried to rezone lands that the community owned and that the St Finian's Trust owned. And that was the only piece of community land that we had for the provision of community facilities, for educational facilities. And thankfully, I put in a motion on that at the time that would not be rezoned. Hence, we have 27 acres there ready to go, where the Bishop has kindly said, if the Department of Education want that land for the provision of a secondary school, then it is there for the Department of Education to negotiate with them. There's very good access for the site. There's access on the station road, so car and bus access could come in from the station road. Bus access could also come in from the business park, and pedestrian access could also go in there from the main street. In 2018, the department decided they were going to build a secondary school. We thought we were going to get it in Duleek because the need was clearly there. Unfortunately, it went over to the Grangerath Mornington area. There was nothing we could do about it. It was an education together school. We didn't win the vote at that time, but clearly our populations have increased. We have almost 12 feeder schools. We have Duleek Boys School, Duleek Girls Schools, Mount Hanover, Bellewstown, Cushinstown, Ardcath, Donore, Knockcommon, Kentstown, Rathfy, Screen and Yellowfors. And there's an option then for children maybe to come from Whitecross Primary School or Slane or even Curraha. So the options available at this time are Drogheda, Laytown, Navan or Ashbourne, and also there at Grangerath. We're talking about creating a green environment. We're talking about giving kids the option to cycle to school, to walk to school. We don't have that option in Duleek. Some of our children have to leave school and be picked up at 7:25 in the morning. And indeed, one Facebook comment was, "We'll never forget when I was going to St Oliver's. My bus picked me up at 7:25 and I'd be at school at 8 o'clock. School not starting until 9, then finished at 3:30 and didn't get off the bus until 10 to 5 coming home. How I wish Duleek had a secondary school. Hopefully we'll see it before my kids go to secondary school." So building a school within a walking and cycling distance is really important if we're going to want to cut out emissions from cars, from buses, and to give children that healthier lifestyle as well. So I'm hoping to get a favourable answer. I did speak to the Taoiseach at the time when he was in here briefing the senators last year, and that was one of my key priorities, to get a secondary school for Duleek. There is a need for it, Minister, and I'm hoping that you're going to give us some hope here this morning that the department will look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Minister English.
Thanks, Chair, and I want to thank Senator Keogan for the opportunity to have this conversation today. I can assure you, Senator, I don't want to upend the Taoiseach community. It might be a higher authority than myself, but I'll try to give you as positive answer as I possibly can. And it's important that I think that we are discussing education today, and we have 7 young students here in the audience as well from County Meath, and a lot of these like cycling and bikes to school too, and still they're all in primary school. But it's great to have them up there, and we have a teacher from St Pat's as well, so it's an important time to talk about education in Meath as well, and we're under pressure. Again, I want to thank Senator for raising the matter, and apologies from Minister Foley couldn't be here herself because she's stuck in Cabinet, but she will be very committed to making sure that schools are in the right place at the right time, and certainly that's the issue you're raising in relation to the position of Duleek and County Meath and the need for a new school there to deal with the number of students coming from Duleek and all the areas you mentioned around. I think you got most townlands mentioned there in the debate as well, but it shows the significance and the pressure of the growing area, and the census will also record a greatly increased population in Meath East as well, which will be serving the school you've mentioned. In order to plan for school provision and to analyse the relevant demographic area, the Department divides the country into 314 school planning areas and uses a geographical information system using data from a range of sources, including child benefit and school enrolment data, to identify where the pressure for school places across the country will arise and where additional school accommodation is needed at primary and post-primary school. Major new residential developments in a school planning area have the potential to alter demand in that area. In that regard, as part of the demographic exercises, the Department gathers up-to-date information on significant new residential developments in each local authority area. This is necessary to ensure that schools' infrastructure planning is kept at pace with demographic changes. Project Ireland 2040 population and housing targets also inform the Department's projections of school places requirements. The Department's use of its GIS additional facilities facilitates identification of more localised pressure points within an overall school planning area, kind of like what the area is saying of Duleek. They can focus in on what's happening in a very small area as well. Where data indicates that additional provision is required at primary or post-primary level, the delivery of such additional provision is dependent on the particular circumstances of each case and may be provided through either one or a combination of the following: utilising existing unused capacity within a school or schools, extending the capacity of a school or schools, which would have happened back in 2018-19 in this area, or provision of a new school or schools. Duleek is in the Drogheda school planning area, and as the Senator is aware, based on previous demographic analysis, a new post-primary school to serve the Drogheda and Leighton school planning areas, Drogheda Educate Together Secondary School, was established in 2019, and a project to provide a new school building to accommodate 1,000 pupils and 4 classrooms for pupils with special education needs is in train. The Department is also providing significant capital funding at other post-primary schools in the Drogheda school planning area, including extension projects at St Oliver's Community College, Sacred Heart Secondary School, St Mary's Dyson School and St Joseph's CBS. In respect of Senator's reference to the preliminary Census 22 results, the Department has noted this information and looks forward to further elaboration from the CSO and those in 2023, including in relation to the age profile of the population, which is of relevance in relation to children of school-going age. The Department's most recent demographic analysis from 2021 indicates that current and planned post-primary provision in the Drogheda school planning area is sufficient to meet the projected requirements for school places. However, a refresh process is currently underway for 2022 and will have regard to updated information concerning school enrolments, population statistics and planned additional housing, as well as enrolment of Ukrainian children and existing capacity in schools. And you reference yourself there, there's over 400 Ukrainian children have entered schools as well, so it's important that that is captured in our figures and in the data as well. School place requirements in the Drogheda school planning area, and specifically in the Duleek area, will continue to be kept under review, informed by this updated information. And being familiar with the area of Duleek and the county in general, I totally understand the pressure on the education system when it comes to numbers. And again, the movement of people right into Drogheda, over as far as Navan, even up to Dunshaughlin as well, and Ashbourne. So the whole area is under pressure when it comes to school places. So I think you're right to call for a review and to call for Duleek to be looked at specifically, because it probably, in my view, would make sense. And I think the figures might back that up. So I'm glad that the Department is reviewing the figures and will have updated information on that probably by this stage next year, 2023, to be able to inform a decision from thereafter.
Thanks, Minister. Senator, you have a minute to respond.
Thank you very much, and I really look forward to that review. And there's an awful lot of development going on in the south of the county, over towards Grange, Rath, Mornington, and there is a 1,000-pupil school being built there currently. That's going to be filled with what's coming down the line with regard to population increases over in that area. I'm specifically looking for a secondary school for my area. The need is there, the demand is there. I'm not too sure whether it'll be a 1,000-pupil school, but certainly you're looking at 500 to 600 children that the school could be used for that. It's a 27-acre site. It could be a fabulous education facility with all the auxiliary recreational supports there for a good student life to be had there on that site. So, Minister, I'm going to keep you to your word with regard to the review. I will be back here probably towards the end of the year asking again, and I look forward to a more favourable response. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And Minister, you have the final minute.
Again, I want to thank Senator Sharon Keogan for raising the matter, and I think it is important that we constantly review these figures and kind of track the population. Having spent time in that Department of Education as a junior minister, I do understand the system they have, and it is quite good at analysing the data and the figures, but sometimes they can miss some local information as well, so it's important that we constantly have these debates and feed into that as well. And you did mention at the start about the site being made available by the Bishop. I want to thank Bishop Deanahan, who we all know is very focused on education as well, for being cooperative and working with the local authorities and working with yourselves and others in the area as well to make sure that a site is possible possible. And that certainly makes it easier, so that if the department, on their analysis of the census figures and the population trends and the number of additional pupils coming in from Ukraine and so on is all added in, if it is deemed necessary to have a new school, it's great to have a site ready. It could speed up that process to deliver the school as well. So I think we'll know next year if it makes sense or not from a population point of view. Naturally, as a local senator, you'd make the case that it would, and naturally as a VTD, I would recognise the need for it as well. So hopefully the figures will show that too, and we can get resources allocated to make it happen.